Yeah, I mean, ETF, so exchange traded fund, is basically like a company share, traditional world regulated shares, right? That represents Bitcoin. So if you heard of GBTC, right, probably one of the biggest owner of Bitcoin in the entire world, they launched like a trust. I'm not sure if this is exactly ETF, but it's very similar. If it's not, essentially this company, right, fully regulated, let's say in the United States, follows all the regulation. They launch their shares. So their shares simply just represents the amount of BTC that the company has or owns or manages, let's say. So why do we do this? Was because all these institutional investors, right, who probably don't know anything about Bitcoin, don't know how to store private keys. It's like they want exposure to Bitcoin without actually having to go through the complexities or risks of holding Bitcoin. So what do? Well, they buy the shares of this ETF so that they can still, sell or buy according to the spot market of BTC. So overall, it's a very positive thing because when it's regulated, it brings in institutional money, which is absolutely massive. But however, it's very difficult to obtain. So
Would then MicroStrategy be kind of an ETF in a way, since they're so completely leveraged in BTC?
I believe they issue like some sort of convertible bonds or something. So it's slightly different, but let's say the overall idea of giving institutional investors exposure to Bitcoin, that would be similar. So I mean, they're both very good. It's just a different regulatory frameworks and investment vehicles.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but man, Kathy Wood, she's like the Bitcoin mom hero in the crypto industry.
Yeah, I've heard her name thrown around a few times. I was looking at an ARK Investment. They're one of these. They're they've got, I suppose, anything that's sort of paradigm breaking. I was just looking at their investment, $50 billion investment fund. And what was it that caught my eye? Like basically like genomics, CRISPR, anything that is, I would almost call it, here we go. ARK invests in disruptive technology, artificial, so AI, DNA, sequencing, CRISPR, robotics, electric vehicles, energy storage, blah, blah, blah. So I would call this just basically, years ago I got into the whole Ray Kurzweil sort of singularity sort of notion, and it's almost like a foregone conclusion. Everybody kind of accepts that, but I would almost call them like investing in those singularity type technologies, those convergent technologies. So that's there you
Yeah.
go. There we go. There we go.